How is everybody doing today? It is finally August 1st. We made it through our crazy, weird thunderstorm July. We're still under flash flood watch right now, but that should end in a couple hours, and we're not really getting any rain in the yard right now. So hopefully we'll have a much better August because everything's running along really well. Our tomatoes this year were more advanced than last year, and our peppers not quite advanced as they were last year, but they are definitely doing well. So we put out 4 different varieties of tomatoes so far, and this will be our 5th tomato tester video. Super excited to show this one to everyone. It's called the Ava Purple Ball. We haven't grown it in our yard for the past couple years, but we grew it for a couple years when we first received the seeds from a friend. We should know about the level of it on how easily it comes off. See how easily that came off? This is supposed to be a type that will almost fall off the vine when they're ripe and ready, so this one might be just a tiny bit under. It was a little bit harder coming off, but not too hard, so I'm pretty sure it's ready. It's been on the vine about this color for days. They can get a more darker purple color or more cherry red, but everything that I've seen from most people growing these, it ends up being a pink color, and it probably isn't showing up properly in the camera. But this one is also a very disease resistant plant. It's overall a well-rounded plant. This one has went through thunderstorms and has not split. So one of the special things about the Ava Purple Ball tomato is its really round shape on all of its fruits, and really low splitting, even though it's a rounder tomato that you would maybe normally think that it was prone to it. Looking it up online, it came from Germany in the late 1800s and was introduced in the early 1900s as seeds. It's an indeterminate variety, meaning it will continue to grow as long as it's got season. So indeterminate varieties, if you don't cut them back well enough, they'll go under. This tomato plant isn't indicative of what you can do with one. This is in a container, and it's one of our plants that seems to be under more duress but still doing really well. So it was kind of set back by our weather and the position in the yard. Once the tomatoes get planted out in the yard, it's not as easy as say the peppers where you can move to better spots. And so this one has been in a little bit of a tougher spot, getting crowded out by the black trifle and the black beauty, and even some of the cherry tomatoes that are reaching over into it. But we just we put Epsom salt water in it a couple days ago to go in with the rainwater, which has been really good for them. So a really well-rounded tomato, and we will take you inside and give it a try for you. We're going to save seeds probably off of this tomato here because it's a really nice looking tomato, but we're going to take it inside and give it a try. We have some remembrances of trying this one before, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. So it's UT and Angel. It is August 1st of 2021, and this is the Ava Purple Ball tomato. Catch you guys in just a second. Love you guys. Alright everyone, so checking our video backlog, I do realize that we did grow this one last year. It was the year before last that we didn't grow it, and then the year before that we grew it again. So maybe it's an every other thing, or 2 years off, 2 years on. But the Ava Purple Ball tomato, look how round that looks. It's a really pinkish red. The closest to a red tomato I think we have in our yard right now. And the one we grew last year had a lot more core in it, but from pictures I've seen online, they should be more juicy like this. Look at almost no meat. And if this was left on there a little bit longer, which it would have been fine left on there a little bit longer. This one right here to me is a, let me give it a taste though. I have to remember, there's going to be quite a few good seeds in this one though. And I really like this. When you're saving seeds, you probably should save from the plants that are the healthiest, and then the pods or the tomatoes off of those plants that are more akin to looking the way you would want them to, or having better shape to them. So this one having such a great shape makes it an excellent contender for seed saving for us. This is exactly what I remember. This one to me, it tastes like a Roma tomato. I don't know why it does, but it severely tastes like a Roma tomato to me. What do you think about it? It has a lot less meat than last year.
Yeah, it's definitely really juicy. It is very mild, and it kind of does remind me of a Roman tomato. I think that's why we said that these would be good taco tomatoes. But there's a lot of juice in it this time, so.
Yeah, this might be a little rough to cut up for tacos with that little amount of meat in there. I would pair this one with the black trifle just because it's got really traditional tomato flavors, as how I would try to explain it. Like a Roma or a San Marzano or a paste tomato, almost like you would dice up to put with your tacos, would be really, really good. Last year I think it was a little bit under. This year it might be right on or a little bit over, probably closer to right on. It could have stayed on the vine a little bit longer, but the meat really, really just kind of goes away. It's not really mealy, but it is a little bit, so I can imagine just scooping all of that in or out right there and maybe stuffing it, or also man, I just like this one. Just it screams tacos or salsa to me because it's really traditional. It's like a tomato from our yard or a homegrown tomato from a farm market or something like that is light years different. Everybody who grows tomatoes or likes tomatoes knows that the homegrown ones are way, way better than the store-bought. So this is way better than a store-bought tomato, but it really reminds me of the traditional flavor. So this one tastes like a red tomato, and it is probably the closest to a red that we got.
Yeah.
So the growth of the plants is pretty disease resistant in our scenario, growing in containers. The plant grows relatively strong. It doesn't produce a horde of tomatoes, but it does produce quite a few. I think that the title that I used last year on this tomato was well-rounded, and I think this year it's about the same, except for the one last year having a little bit more meat made it seem like you could use it for a slicer, you could use it to dice up into salsa, you could use it to dice up to put as fresh tomatoes on top of tacos or a salad. This year the core of it's just a lot more juicy, so I think that being that these are turning out this way and a little bit of a different experience for us, and it goes to show our experience from last year to this year is different so far.
And it could be with all the rain that we've been getting why it's juicier, and the tomatoes haven't split, so that's a good sign with all the extra rain.
Yeah, so really just a good, well-rounded, flavored, traditional red flavored tomato flavoring on it. Perfectly round, really beautiful conversation piece to have out in the yard. A lot of what we grow, we don't grow necessarily to provide ourselves with the food we need. I mean, if it was a catastrophe, I think that I could switch our yard over pretty quick to a power growing yard, but we like unique in the yard. It's what compels us to go out there often. And this is just a beautiful, excellent tomato. One that I'm super excited to get some more on. It's not producing very well from us in the struggle situation, but yeah, an excellent tomato. We got these, the black trifle and the black cherry, from a good friend years ago, and we've been growing them on and off in our yard ever since as three of our favorite types. And this one at one point kind of represented Angel, and the black trifle kind of represented me, and then the black cherry, the little tomato, represented Kiddo. And they're some of our very favorite tomatoes. So a really good traditional flavor, really good, well-rounded tomato. Excellent. I'm not quite sure. From the pictures I did see online, it does look a lot mushier or juicier on the inside than I remember seeing it. So if you're using it for a salsa or something else like that, you might want to go right when it turns pink, and then it'll just go deeper and deeper pink, almost red. The camera never shows the proper color. So anything else you want to say about it?
No, I just think it's an excellent tomato and worth a try if you hadn't tried it.
Alright, so I'll take you back outside for 1 second and catch you in a minute. Alright, so August 1st of 2021, we got a whole bunch starting up at the top right here. It's the Ava Purple Ball tomato, a disease-resistant, indeterminate heirloom from the late 1800s in Germany. A tomato that almost never cracks, got perfectly round shape, really good structure to it. I would say this one is probably one If it's a little bit under, it'll have more meat to it. If it's a little bit over, it will accelerate the fastest out of all the tomatoes that I'd seen so far. And this is all opinion strictly from our yard. I want everybody to know that we're not professionals. We want to keep reiterating that. We just do these videos for friends and family and anybody who might be trying to grow this that wants to take a look at it from an individual perspective. But we're just a small family in a small yard trying to see something unique, and this is the Ava Purple Ball tomato. A high recommend on this. The Black Trifil and the Ava Purple Ball are two medium-sized tomatoes that go really well together. This one seemed to escalate. It started out mild when they're a little bit under, but it extremely escalates. So as soon as it starts getting its pink color, it's about 2 or 3 days and it'll be fully ripe. And they also mentioned that they come off the vine really easy, but really beautiful tomato. It is August 1st of 2021 and our 5th tomato tester video of the year. So we love you guys. We appreciate sitting down with these and taking a closer look at them with us. I high recommend the Ava Purple Ball, and we'll catch you next time. Love you. Thanks for watching.